The following video is to show you how to use Kahoot. As a teacher, you're going to want to go to getkahoot.com to go ahead and use it with your students. So you're going to create an account. It is free, but go ahead and sign in. Mine automatically signs me and it remembers me. But this is what the home screen looks like. This will have your different stats, how many Kahoots you've made, how many questions that are made with those Kahoots, how many times that you've had your games played, how many players you've had, how many times people have shared it, or how many times people have favorited it. You can also see your recent results. You can download them, or you can save them to your Google Drive, or you can play again, but in ghost mode. Now, if you want to save it or download the results, it'll download it as an Excel, and you can open the file. And it will show you the student, the correct answer, their incorrect answers, their score, and then you can scroll through and see what question they got right. Then up here at this bar, this is where you can make a new Kahoot. You can go see the Kahoots you've made, or you can go to the public Kahoots. So if you want to do a public Kahoot, you don't want to make one, you want to see if there's one out there you want to use, you'll go to the title here and you'll put in title, subject, tag, or username. So if I want to do some review on division, I'll search for division. So right here, here's one for division practice, division strategies, 4th grade. You can play them, favorite them, or share them. If you favorite them, you can always go back to that favorite icon and go back and find it a lot quicker than having to search. Here's another. You can look for capitalization if you're in the lower grades. You name it, it's probably out there, but I would test it before you do it with your students. So if you want to go back home, go to Kahoot. Here's your main screen again. You can create a quiz, create a discussion, or create a survey. If you want to create a quiz, we'll do that one first. Start by giving it a name. We'll call it test. So here you will create the question. It does have a 95 character limit. You can change the time length. You can change if it's a point question or no point question. Sometimes if you want to have a picture displayed for them to answer for, here's how you would upload it. You can also do a video. Then down here, it needs up to 2 choices for answers, but you can do up to 4. But you need to mark which one is right. And the students can only click on 1 square at a time, so you only want to make it so there's 1 correct. Now, you do not click Save and Continue. You click Add Question or Duplicate. And then down here on the left, you can scroll through all your questions as you go. So I will type, is this test working? I will put an answer of yes or no. I'll say yes, it is working, and I will save and continue. Then you get to this screen when you are completely done. You can always go back and edit your questions. You can choose your language. They have a lot of options. You can make it public or private. If it's private, no one can play it but you. Public, it's open, and that's where you would go here and people could find it. Primary audience, you would choose your audience. I'm a school teacher, so this would be school. You can write a description for people when they go to look for it. And then here is the settings for the difficulty level. This one would be fairly easy. And then you save and continue. You can always add an image here. If you don't want to add an image for your quiz or your game, then they will give one for you. And you will be done. And it's ready to be played, previewed, or edited. You can always go back and edit. You can send a link to people if you want to share it with your team. Then we'll go back to my Kahoots. And these are all the Kahoots, and they will all be here for you to see them, and you can play them at any time. So let's say I'm ready to do my test. I will click play. Your students will need a computer or iPad. And here you have settings you can change. They have to use a pin to get in. So if you want it displayed throughout the whole time in case something happens where they get kicked out, they can re-add themselves to it by adding in at any time. So I would always turn that on. Show minimize intro instructions, that's up to you. If you're doing multiplication facts, if you put them in order in the game, you can have them randomized here so the students can't just memorize it. And it plays a lot of fun music, but sometimes that can get distracting, so you can turn that off. Then there's also advanced options where it can automatically move through questions, or if you turn that off, you have to sit there and manually go through them. Sometimes it'll just automatically restart the Kahoot, so if you don't want it to, you can turn that off or on. And then you're ready to launch it. And then it'll go from this screen to this. And after 15 seconds, it'll count down. And if no one's joined, after one person's joined in that 15 seconds, then it's going to start. So you need to tell your students that they can't take their time. They got to put in the pin in their name and go. But when it does, every time a new person enters, it will restart the clock. But once no one's done anything for 15 seconds on here, it will start the game. Your students on their tablet or laptop need to go to kahootit.com. And here they will put in the game pin. So our game pin was 279439. 279439. I will enter. And if you look over here, it still hasn't started because I haven't joined. But now I'm going to put in my name and say go. And it says I'm in, ready to go. And now this has started to count down, I mean. So if no one joins with me in the next 15 seconds or starts to join, it's going to automatically start the game and no one else can join. Here's the student screen. So they will have a display of these two. Here's the question. Is this test working? It has to be displayed for the students to see it. So the student will say, yes, it's working. Correct. They're the only one. Until everyone answers, it will not display if they're correct, and it will also do the rankings of all your students. And see how it's just going through, counting down from 15 down. And it's just going to go through all the screens for you automatically. If you don't want it to, you choose that option not to happen, and you have to click through the screen. And now it's going to automatically restart. And that is how you use Kahoot.